Hello everyone. Welcome back to Learn English with Mr. Pareto. Today I have something special for you. This video will help you practice your listening skills and learn how to use a technique called shadowing. What is shadowing? You listen and then you repeat exactly what I say. It helps you sound more natural in English. Pay attention to my pronunciation, my rhythm, and even my intonation, the way my voice goes up and down, and do the same. It's a great method to improve your speaking and listening at the same time. First, just listen to the story. Then, go back and play it again. This time, pause the video after each sentence and repeat it out loud. Try to match my voice. Do this 2 or 3 times until it feels easier. And don't worry, you will see all the text on the screen while I speak. That way, you can read along and understand everything. Today's story is about Barry, a lazy guy forced by his mom to volunteer at a park cleanup. Despite his best and worst efforts, he somehow creates chaos wherever he goes, burying trash in the sandbox, spilling paint on flowers, and even turning sandwich duty into a full-on food fight. Lisa, the cheerful team leader, tries to keep him on track despite his disasters. But despite all the mess and mishaps, Barry's spirit never quite breaks. Will he find a way to redeem himself and prove he's not the worst volunteer ever? Or will the park survive his chaotic help? You won't believe how it all turns out. Remember, you can watch, listen, repeat, and shadow as many times as you want. The more you practice, the more confident you will feel when speaking English. Let's get started. The Great Volunteering Disaster. Barry was not your typical volunteer. In fact, Barry was the kind of person who would rather sleep on the couch all day than do anything helpful. But one day, while munching on a bag of chips and watching TV, his mom stormed into the room. "Barry," she shouted, "you need to get off that couch and do something useful." "There's a community cleanup at the park tomorrow," she said. "You're going to help." No arguments. Barry knew better than to argue with his mom, so he nodded lazily. The next morning, dressed in his oldest, least clean clothes, because why get clean clothes dirty, he dragged himself to the park. When Barry arrived, he saw a group of enthusiastic volunteers already picking up trash, planting flowers, and painting fences. There was a cheerful woman in charge named Lisa, who wore a bright yellow hat that looked like it was made from sunshine itself. "Welcome," Lisa said with a big smile. "Are you here to help?" Yeah. My mom said I have to." Lisa didn't seem to mind. "Great. We need someone to pick up litter around the playground. Here's a trash bag and some gloves." Barry looked at the gloves like they were poisonous, but he put them on anyway. He wandered over to the playground and started picking up candy wrappers and juice boxes. After a while, he got bored and decided to take a little break on the swing. As he was happily swinging back and forth, Lisa appeared again. "Barry, it's great that you're testing the swings for safety, but could you also clean the sandbox area?" Barry sighed and shuffled over to the sandbox. There was a lot of sand, obviously. He figured the easiest way to clean it was to dig a big hole and bury all the trash. Genius. After about 10 minutes, Barry had created what he called the Great Trash Pit. No one would ever know. Feeling quite accomplished, he decided to help with painting the fence next. He grabbed a bucket of white paint and a big brush. Painting was easy, he thought, dipping the brush and slapping paint on the fence like an artist. Unfortunately, Barry was not an artist. He didn't notice when his brush hit the bucket and knocked it over, spilling paint all over the grass. Panicking, Barry grabbed the nearest thing to wipe it up, a bunch of daffodils. Lisa noticed the mess and came running over, her eyes wide. "Barry, what happened?" The fence tried to eat the paint, but it didn't like it, so it spit it out." Lisa didn't look convinced, but she just sighed and said, "Let's focus on planting flowers instead. Just leave the paint." Barry followed her to a flower bed where other volunteers were digging neat little holes and planting colorful flowers. Barry grabbed a plant and jammed it into the ground like he was planting a tree. The poor flower looked like it was being punished. Lisa, trying to be patient, showed him the proper way to plant flowers. Barry nodded, pretending to understand, but somehow his flowers still looked like they'd just been through a hurricane. After several more accidents, like accidentally watering a volunteer instead of the plants and chasing a squirrel that had stolen his glove, Lisa finally gave him a simple job, handing out sandwiches to the other volunteers. Surely, Barry couldn't mess this up. But, of course, Barry managed to trip over a garden hose and send sandwiches flying like frisbees. One even landed right in Lisa's hat. She took off the sandwich-covered hat, gave Barry a long look, and then burst out laughing. "You know what?" she said between giggles. "You might be the worst volunteer I've ever met, but at least you're trying." Barry grinned sheepishly. "Maybe I should volunteer to take a break." Lisa shook her head with a smile. "How about you help organize the leftover supplies instead? Just no paint or plants involved." By the end of the day, the park looked surprisingly beautiful despite Barry's chaotic contributions. The other volunteers were happy, and Lisa even gave Barry a small thank you gift, a tiny potted plant. "Just don't paint it," she teased. Barry took the plant home, proud that he hadn't completely ruined the day. He set it on his windowsill and promised himself that next time, he'd try a little harder and maybe leave the painting to someone else. When his mom asked how it went, Barry shrugged and said, "Let's just say I didn't burn the park down, so that's good." And surprisingly, Barry found himself kind of looking forward to the next community project, mostly because he still owed Lisa an apology for the daffodils. Useful phrases from Barry's story. I spilled the paint. Use this when you accidentally drop or pour paint. Example, I wanted to paint the fence, but I spilled the paint. Repeat after me. I spilled the paint. I buried the trash. Say this when you hide trash in the ground. Example, I didn't know what to do, so I buried the trash in the sandbox. Repeat after me. I buried the trash. It was a mess. Use this when something is very disorganized or chaotic. Example, sandwiches flew everywhere. It was a mess. Repeat after me. It was a mess. I'm trying my best. Say this when you are doing your best, even if things go wrong. Example, everything is going wrong, but I'm trying my best. Repeat after me. I'm trying my best. That was not my fault. Use this when something bad happens, but it wasn't you. Example, the squirrel stole my glove. That was not my fault. Repeat after me. That was not my fault. She laughed. Say this when someone thinks something is funny. Example, I dropped a sandwich in her hat. She laughed. Repeat after me. She laughed. I got a gift. Use this when someone gives you something. Example, at the end of the day, I got a small plant. I got a gift. Repeat after me. I got a gift. Next time, I'll be better. Say this when you want to improve in the future. Example, I made mistakes, but next time, I'll be better. Repeat after me. Next time, I'll be better. That was fun. Say this when you enjoy something, even if it was a little crazy. Example, volunteering was a mess, but that was fun. Repeat after me. That was fun. Practice time. Let's say some phrases together. I spilled the paint. I buried the trash. It was a mess. I'm trying my best. That was not my fault. She laughed. I got a gift. Next time, I'll be better. That was fun. Great job. You did amazing today. Thank you so much for practicing with me and enjoying Barry's funny volunteer adventure. You can watch this video again and again to practice your pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. And remember, making mistakes is part of learning. Even Barry, the most chaotic volunteer ever, learned something in the end. So can you. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe for more fun and useful English lessons. Keep practicing, keep smiling, and never stop learning. See you next time.